AITA for sitting on a man's hand after he refused to remove it from the empty seat? Pretty sure I was an asshole here, but we'll see. So, I, F30, am 8 months pregnant. I take public transport to work daily. I'm always exhausted cause I have to work extra time to be able to afford basic necessities. I take the bus to work every day and oftentimes it's packed. But I get lucky enough when decent folks volunteer their seats for me. Now I should mention that I don't use my pregnancy as an excuse to get what I want, but people just offer me their places by themselves, which is kind and sweet. Wednesday. I get on the bus like usual, but this time there's one empty seat. I go to sit, but I find a guy in his business attire sitting there with his hand on the empty seat. Sort of like resting it? I say excuse me and ask him to remove his hand so I could sit. But he tells me the seat was taken. I ask by who and he says his hand. NGL. I laughed a little but wasn't feeling well, so I ask him to remove it so I could sit, but he refuses. Again. Folks start staring. I tell him I'm tired and needed to sit, and he replies saying my pregnancy isn't his problem. I had enough at this point. My legs were burning and my back was hurting. So I go ahead and sit on his hand. He freaks out and tries to remove it quickly while shouting at me. He then starts arguing about how disrespectful I was to do this inappropriate thing and in public. No less. I argue back NGL, but then he gets off after saying I was being inappropriate and disrespectful. Everyone stares at me and I just sit there feeling a bit of shame about what happened. I tell my husband about this incident and he WTF'd the entire time. Then says that I did indeed act inappropriately and shouldn't have made this guy uncomfortable by sitting on his hand like that. He tells me I fucked up and this was totally inappropriate despite me saying I was so tired of standing and was in desperate need to sit down. AITA? ETA several points. Like I said, I do get offered seats from others, so I'm being treated well most of the time. But unfortunately run into some people who don't do that. This guys seemed to be upset about something and then the argument probably made it worse. I could have de-escalated by maybe talking to the driver. However, I'm pretty sure he didn't pay for the seat just to put his hand on it. Who does that? Also, most of the passengers were younger folks that day. I would get a seat from older folks. NTA 1 seat per passenger unless space permits, which it didn't because you as a passenger wanted to sit. He's an entitled asshole and so is your husband. NTA. Your husband is wrong. When I was in my 20s, 30s, and 40s I used the public bus system every day and I know this kind of rider. Sometimes they are snobs whose car is in the shop and they are horrified that they have to deal with a gasp stranger sitting next to them. Or they are touch-phobic. Or they think, I call dibs on 2 seats, should be honored on a crowded bus. Good on you for sitting right down and not letting him get away with hogging 2 seats. Everybody on that bus was on your side. So, I do this thing with my cats where I sit down slowly if they're in a space where I need to be. And I say, here comes the butt, and they move. This guy showed less intelligence than my cats. And a lot less compassion. NTA and also lol. NTA. Seats are for butts, not hands. If you don't want a butt on your hand, keep it on your own seat. NTA and I love you. This isn't about whether someone should give up their seat for a pregnant woman. Your pregnancy is irrelevant here. You don't get 2 seats. Not for your bag. Not to sprawl out or lay down. And not for your hand. He shouldn't have tried to take up an extra seat. And he absolutely should have moved the first time you asked. I don't know whether that completely justifies sitting on his hand. But it's kinda unbelievable he still didn't move his hand as it was clear you were sitting. He was playing some kinda weird power trip chicken and he lost. He's the asshole. NTA. I hope you farted. NTA. I've been 8 months pregnant on public transportation and I 100% would have done exactly as you did. Woman shrugging seriously. What did he expect? I'd love to see the AITA post for him. AITA. For not moving my hand. Causing a pregnant lady to sit on it. NTA. Though, I can't believe you stole the seat from his only lover. Don't know about you, but when my wife was 8 meters pregnant she could give 2 fucks what was appropriate. I backed her all the way and I back you up as well. NTA. In my area, all public transit has seats that are designated for disabled, and pregnancy is considered a disability. Bus drivers will usually step up and order able people out of the seats when they refuse to move. It's not perfect, and it's harder on trains to get help. But it should be this way everywhere. Oh, tell your husband you didn't embarrass the man. The man just had to deal with the consequences of his self-centered bullshit. Hilarious. NTA. Totally deserved. NTA. People who are mad about this don't ride the bus. NTA. His discomfort was his own damn fault. He tried to be an asshole and got pissed when you called him on it. Frankly, I'm kind of surprised more people didn't publicly shame him for being a dick while he was doing it, but you handled it well on your own. NTA. My hand. What a dick. I wish I had your courage, haha. NTA. He fucked around and found out. NTA. I'm amazed at your husband tbh. He wants you to stand so some a hole can hog an open seat? That's nuts. I'm proud of you for standing. Sitting. Up for yourself. How dare you sit on his GF? NTA. That guy tried to be an ass and didn't expect to be called out in it and have to take the consequences. You should have farted on his hand to top it off. I am slightly concerned that your hubby isn't on your side. I hope it is a one-off with him. NTA. It's just a random dude being rude as hell. Sit on him again if you see him.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.